to do is I'm trying to show you that torture was afflicted to every prophet. Yet everything, every kind of evil, every form of oppression, every form of tyranny was applied to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Therefore, when I come and I'm remembering Imam Hussein, I say Imam Hussein was such a great man. Imam Hussein in Karbala did such great things. Why? He's completing the mission of the prophets before him. Universal mission. Once I understand that Imam Hussein came with a universal message, once I understand he came with a universal mission, I'll be able to teach the world about the son of Fatima. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, when these nights we're remembering Karbala and we're remembering Imam Hussein, we need to have one thing in mind, that his mission was universal. Karbala was a microcosm of the ongoing battle of good and evil from the day of Adam until Imam Mahdi will come out. Until Imam Mahdi will come out. It's a microcosm, good and evil. Many people think Imam Hussein went to Karbala to win a physical war. Then why did Imam Hussein to win a physical war? Let me make this clear. Imam Hussein did not go to Karbala to win a physical war. He didn't go to Karbala. He doesn't need to win this physical war. I ask you a very simple question. You don't need to be a scientist to understand that an army of 72 will never be able to win a war against 30,000. You don't need to be a scientist. You don't need to be intelligent, a genius to understand this. Yet why did Imam Hussein go to Karbala? 72 people were with Imam Hussein, fighting an army of 30,000. This itself is brain-boggling. 72 members against 30,000. What is Imam trying to tell you? He's telling you, I didn't go to Karbala to win a physical war. I went to Karbala to prove something. I went to Karbala to prove that no matter how minute your army is, if you have trust in Allah, then you will be victorious. Notice in Badr, Allah tells them, إِن يَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ عَشْرُونَ تَغْلَبُوا مِئَتَيْنِ. He says, if you have 20, you'll beat 200 soldiers. Why? Because a man that is great isn't one who has physical power. Today you have many physically strong individuals, physically strong, yet the iman is what makes you better than everyone else. Imam Hussein alayhi salam took with him Habib ibn Mudahir. Habib ibn Mudahir was 80 years old. I ask you, how much can an 80-year-old man do on a battlefield with armor on his body in the middle of the heat? Can't do much. Imam is telling them, I didn't take with me the physically fit, I took with me the spiritually fit. Therefore, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he was once, Allahumma salli ala Imam Sadiq one day was sitting with his companions. They came and asked him. They told him, Imam, why didn't you uprise against the dictator of your time, Mansur? He told them, because I didn't have enough companions. Please understand this story. Just contemplate upon it. You'll understand the whole essence of Karbala in this simple story. He gives you a glimpse. They come and question him. They say, Imam Sadiq, why didn't you go against the leader of your time, the dictator? He said, I didn't have enough companions with me. Now the people were shocked. Why? Because all of them were sitting there, his companions. All of them. About 40 of them. He told them, if I had 40 helpers, if I had 40 supporters, I would have went against the dictator of my time. He said, Imam, are we not sitting here 40 of your companions? What did Imam do? He built a fire. He builds a fire and he calls a man by the name of Khurasan. He says, Khurasan, jump in this fire. Khurasan looks at Imam and says, Imam, what do you mean jump in the fire? Do you want me to get hurt? You want me to get injured? He said, stand on the side. He calls another man by the name of Harun al-Makki. He says, Harun, jump in this fire. Without hesitation, without questioning Imam, he jumps in the fire instantly. Now they go and check about Harun. Did he become kebab yet? What's going on with him? They go and look at him. Harun's okay, nothing's wrong with him. So he says, Harun, get out of the fire. He told them, if I had 40 companions like that of Harun al-Makki, I would have went against the dictator of my time. What is he telling them? He's telling them, physically we have many strong people. I need spiritually strong human beings. I need somebody who can look into the eye of the enemy and have no fear. Whenever I think about Abu Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam, this is exactly what comes to my mind. a man who was brave, a man who was victorious. Why? Because he had trust in Allah. Today in our schools, my dear brothers and sisters, walk with confidence. Why? Because you're connected to your Creator. Once you're connected to your Creator, anybody can go against you. It doesn't matter. Man khafa min Allah, khafa minhu kulli shay. He who fears Allah is feared by everything. Look at the countries today that have based their governments on trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on fear from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The world is against them. They're being bombarded left and right by attacks. Does it matter? No. Why? Because they have trust in Allah. Yeah, look at the end of the verse. What does it say? The hadith. Man khafa min Allah, khafa minhu kulli shay. He who fears Allah is feared by everything. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَخَفْ مِنَ اللَّهِ هُوَ خَافَ مِنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. And he who doesn't fear Allah, he fears everything around him. Have you seen people? They're strong physically. He has the money. He has the houses. He has the luxurious life that everybody wishes to live. Yet look at him. Deep into his heart, you see fear. Fear. Therefore, once we come to the Battle of Karbala, and we can't emphasize enough about how it's necessary and why it's so vital to build a relationship with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Because in Karbala, what made Karbala so great? In Karbala, the best were fighting against the worst. Notice when Ali ibn Abi Talib went to Khandaq, what did Rasulullah say? He said, بَرَزَ الْإِيمَانُ كُلُّهُ لِلْكُفْرِ كُلُّهُ. He said, Iman, complete Iman, has went onto the battlefield to fight complete kufr. Complete kufr. Imam Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala had with him the best of companions to such an extent. The cream of the crop were found in Karbala. The best of the best were fighting the worst of the worst. Notice what we say in Ziyarat Ashura. We say, فَلَعْنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً أَسَّسَتْ أَسَّاسَ الظُّلْمِ وَالْجَوْرِ عَلَيْكُمْ أَهْلِ الْبَيْتِ. We say, oh Allah, please curse the nation that built the foundation of injustice and tyranny. The foundation of injustice, the foundation of tyranny was built in Karbala. Likewise, the foundation of good and Iman was built in Karbala as well. It was built in Karbala as well. When I think about the companions of Imam Hussein, I really want to ask myself, would I truly have the ability to be a companion of Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Many of us will come and say, Labbayka ya Hussein, we love you Imam Hussein. Yet the minute we're tested, his true colors emerge. Shaitan, excellent example. Shaitan worshipped Allah for how many years? 6,000 years. 6,000 years. Shaitan worships Allah. The minute he was tested, his true colors came out. He said, أنا خير منه خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. He says, oh Allah, I'm better than him. You created me from fire and you created him from mud. The minute you're tested, you know who a true human being is. I ask myself, if I really wanted to be the companion of Imam Hussein, is that possible? There's a dream of a scholar. A scholar, he had a dream. He said that in this dream, this is the high scholar we're speaking about. He said, in this dream, what did I see? He said, I seen that Imam Hussein alayhi salam was standing. What Imam would do, he would pray, and he would have a wall of soldiers protecting him when he would pray. So this man was one of the soldiers protecting Imam Hussein while he was praying. So this man says, I was standing, and all of a sudden I see an arrow coming towards me. I was thinking to myself, should I duck? Should I take the arrow from my Imam? He says, eventually I ducked and the arrow went into the body of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He said, when I woke up from this dream, I was crying. I was in the most depressed states ever. Why? He said, I realized what the message trying to be sent to me is. If I'm not tested, no matter how much I proclaim my love to Ahlul Bayt, I won't know if I'm a true lover of Ahlul Bayt or not. And one of the best ways to test ourselves is society. Society itself. Mingle with society. See, because many people, he'll isolate himself from society, he'll stay at home, he'll pray 24/7, and he'll say, I'm a mu'min. What did Allah say? أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Allah says, do you think you can claim to be a believer when you haven't been tested? Society. Mix with society. Because the minute you mix with society, you'll find yourself who you truly are. Why? Because society offers for you distractions, right? High school, how much distractions are you facing in high school? Society faces for you lustful, potential desires for you to undertake. Allah says mix with society. If you face the distractions, If you face the problems and desires that society has to offer, yet still become firm in your iman, that's when it's truly impressive. How many youth have you found? He says, when I go to high school, I'm going to maintain my iman. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be a true mu'min. Okay, brother, let's see. He goes to iman. He goes to school. All of a sudden, he sees Mrs. Blondie walking past him. His willpower drops by 50%. Brother, where's the iman? Where's the taqwa? Okay, no problem. Slowly, slowly, he says, I'm going to wake up for Salat Subh no matter what happens. Inshallah, all of us wake up for Salat Subh. He says, I'm going to wake up for Salah no matter what happens. First day, Ali, wake up. My dad, he would come to. I remember when I would go to high school, it would affect me. Why? Because high school is a filthy environment. Of course, in some cases, it has its advantages, yet it has its disadvantages as well. When I go in a corrupt environment, one of the biggest problems with our youth is what? They don't have a firm identity. Identity crisis. You find, have you seen a chameleon? Chameleon, you put it on a brown surface, what color does it turn? Brown. You put it on a black surface, what color does it turn? Black. Red, it becomes red. Unfortunately, many of our Islamic youth, our Muslim youth, have become like these chameleons. Once you don't have a firm identity, no matter what situation you throw him in, he adapts to that environment. There's a problem. So when I would go to high school, I would realize that it's beginning to affect me. So my dad would come to me, Ali, wake up. Okay, Dad, I'll wake up. Please give me some time. Ali, wake up. Salat time. The sun is going to rise. Dad, I'm going to wake up. Don't worry about it. You know what I would do? I would go by the bed. I would say Allahu Akbar and I'll jump back in bed. But my dad wouldn't know. The idea is that I would be affected by high school. And you wouldn't know a human being except when he's tested. So the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam were tested to such an extent that they proved themselves to be victorious in their iman, of course, that is. In their iman. Look at this beautiful story. Imam Hussein alayhi salam is sitting with his companions in the tent. And he tells them, oh my companions, the opposition force wants nobody but me. They don't want you. They don't have any animosity towards you. Their problem is with me, not with you. So I'm giving all of you the ability to leave Karbala and go back to your houses safe. Imam says it once, he says it twice, nobody gets up, nobody leaves. He says, I think some of you are embarrassed. What did he do? He turned off the candle. He says, I am once again telling you, if you want to leave, you can leave. He turned off the candle. He said, maybe some of them are ashamed for others to see them running away from the battlefield. They turned the candle back on, nobody has left. They're all standing there. Muslim ibn Awsaja arises. He says, oh Imam, Wallah, if we were to be killed 70 times, resurrected, killed once again, we will never sacrifice our lives except for you. Except for you. These are true warriors. These are true people. These are true mu'mins that you and I need to strive to be like. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, beautifully in this hadith, he says that inna ashab jaddi al-Husayn. He says the companions of my grandfather Hussein didn't feel the pain of the swords and strikes in Karbala. Imam, what do you mean they didn't feel the pain? They didn't feel the strikes. He said they didn't feel it. Why? He said because their intentions and their mind would focus on Allah and the hereafter to such an extent that that's all they were focusing on. They would be hit by the strikes, they would be hit by the swords, they wouldn't feel it. Now you tell me, Ali, this may be something you're exaggerating. The Quran itself admits it. Notice when the ladies saw Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf was known for his beauty. Right when they seen him, they were cutting the fruits. What happened? What did they cut? They cut their fingers. Did they feel it? No. I ask you a question. If a human being can be captivated by the love of a creation, then what happens once your love is connected to the Creator? There's no comparison. Ahlul Bayt and the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam had this trust in Allah. And it's this trust that makes you a true human being. Therefore, when we come to the Battle of Karbala, you find there was 3 essential factors that made it so great. I mentioned that Karbala was the manifestation of good and evil. It's unbelievable. Whenever I have a problem, go to Karbala, you'll find the solution there. Whenever. Because Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, I came to show you that Islam is something practical. There's 3 essential factors that made Karbala so great. Number 1, it was the fact that Karbala consisted of the best timing. Best timing.